And welcome back, welcome back. That's right. I am 56 hours into this week's fast. As I am moving into the space, as I am improving my health, as I am righting my metabolism, as I am reversing diabetes, all of those in this space right now, and you're joining me, and as we are 2/3, that's right, 2/3 of the way into this week's fast of 72 hours, and we're pairing our fasting with the idea of planning and structure. Planning and structure, as we talked about in our episode last night. When we combine those two, the amazing benefits we get can be astronomical. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. Welcome to our show. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives, which says that we're not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We are presenting our best selves, our best health, and our best plans. We're breaking through those barriers. We're pushing through those boundaries. We're getting rid of those obstacles, and we are showing up to be successful. If you've been joining me for the fast, if you've been joining me for the walking, if you're joining me for the strength training, whatever platform you're on right now, we are excited that you are here. Go ahead and put a new in the comments, because we'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music to let you know that I am happy that you're here. And if you do have questions, go ahead and put those questions in the comments. Put a Q in front of it so we know that that is a question that we need to make sure that we are getting to. As you know, we got some things that we're going to take a look at. I've got my monitor off to the side. I've got my Contour and, of course, my Keto Mojo. And then right down below me, that is my Dexcom Clarity Report, which we will take a look at here in just a minute. If you have not been with us as we've moved through the various parts of our Limitless Living Health Action Plan, we have done our walking over the course of the first 100 and so days. Then, of course, we're in the middle of our strength, strategy, and mindset, and we're actually a little bit further than the middle. Today was day number 58. Day number 58. As we move into 59, we're in the second half of that process. And if you've not joined us yet, as you are implementing the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, you want to make sure that you are doing that you are becoming, that you are working with us on our MOVE campaign. Remember, metabolic optimization via exercise. And let's go ahead and let's pull that up now so you can see some of the things that we've been doing. And there you'll see me. I think this is day 50. Is this day 50? I'm not sure which day this was, but day 58. And so we've got some curls or lateral lifts that we're doing, lateral raises. Let's see, we've got some squats that we're doing there. And what else do we have? Okay, here you go. We got some dead bugs that we're doing. All right, so let's see. There you go. Okay, you can come join us. As we're moving through that space. And then, of course, we've got some pelvic tilts. Oh, let me at least do one. There you go. And boom, there we go. And then, of course, we've got dumbbell presses. Dumbbell press. And our curl and presses that we've been doing. Okay. Let's see, where are the squats? Let's do some squats. There we go. Let's do one with kettlebells. There you go. So we've got some squats that we're doing. So we're in the process. MOVE, metabolic optimization via exercise. So make sure you join us. And then, of course, if you've not been walking with us, those are also on the channel, all of the walking episodes that we did. Now, some of you may think that we are done with walking. We're not done with walking, right? That's still one of the arms that we're using. We've been doing the the shows and showing the strength, strategy, and mindset, because that's the series we're in right now. But the walking is not over, right? So remember that we continue that as part of the health action plan. But these also are over on the channel, and you can follow us along as we walk for our health, and as we learn some strategies to help us along our way in the course of our metabolic optimization. Okay, so make sure that you join us for that as well. And then, of course, here we are with our fasting. Notice that each of the components that we have, each of the pillars in the health action plan, there is a correlating thing that we're doing, a correlating tool that we are using. So let's go ahead and let's hop over and let's take a look at blood sugars. And this is my Freestyle Libre that you're looking at right now on the screen. And we're looking at this number right about here. So that number is white in the red area. That's what my blood sugar is right now. If we look further down on the graph, you'll see we've got the white graph, and then part of it is red. So the white that's hovering right below 100, and the red part is when we dip below 70. And you see right now that we are, according to this, in the 70s. Now, I recently, within the last few minutes, actually had to change my so it's warmed up already. I was going to say I had to change my Dexcom, so we may not have a blood sugar, but there it is. And let's take a look at what's been going on over the last 24 hours. And there we are in the 80s, in the 90s, coming into the morning, 80s, 90s, and right about 4 or 5 o'clock, we piped up. Let's see, how high did we get? We get up to, what's the highest right there? 124, I think. Yeah, 125. And then started to drop again. Down, low 100s. Into the 90s. And then 90s. So we're kind of maintaining that until we are where we are right now. So I love that. So let's go ahead and we're going to hop over and take a look at my monitors. And here I have a Contour and a Keto Mojo. And let's go ahead and I need a blue for blood sugar, blue for ketones actually, and a brown for blood sugar. I need to get some Lancets. I'll take those out, so I'll have 2 just in case, just on hand. And then I need a strip for the Contours. Let's get that out of here. All right. Let's get that in here. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up. I'm going to try to open both of these. So this is the, let's see. Okay, there we go. These little tier ones usually give me some challenges, but we got that one out. Okay, I think I bent. Well, we'll see if it. I want to try it. No, I think I bent that one. So we go. Let's grab another one, and I'll try not to bend it. Okay, that's better. But then when I don't tear it all the way, then I have trouble getting it out. All right, there we are. Let's get that one in. And while that's getting ready, I'm going to go ahead and open the ketone strip as well, just to have it partially open because it usually gives me trouble. So let's go ahead and grab, here is my Lancet, and get a drop of blood. We're going to just grab one finger. All right, hopefully that gives me, let's see, did I get a good one? Okay, yeah, that's not great, but it was good enough. Let's get that one started. And then we need another drop for the Contour. So what do you think my ketones are going to be? Right, so here my blood sugar is 70, according to the Keto Mojo. 70, and then of course here is the Dexcom right there. Let's go ahead, I'm going to get this one out. before that blood dries. If I can grab it. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. And so 56 hours of fasting. 56 hours of fasting. And hopefully that works. Here we go. All right, so I think I got it in time. Got it in time. So what do you think? Drop it in the comments. What do you think the blood sugar is going to be? Okay, look at that, 1.1. 1.1, which is actually pretty good. So when we talk about ketones, and I'm going to actually see if I can pull up. Let's go back over here. And I'm going to pull up the app, the Keto Mojo app. And remember, ketones that are less than 0.5 are considered normal. 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis. And above 1.5 considered therapeutic ketosis. So I'm pulling up because I've not done recently where I've pulled all the data into the app and then looked at the graph. So let's see if we can do that here really quickly and go from there. Okay, so it looks like it's pulled those in, and 1.1. Yep, so there it is. And let's come here. Actually, let's go here. And all right, so let's kind of scroll through. And so that 3.5 that you're seeing right there is the glucoketo index, and it's just a division of the ketone, the glucose by the ketones. Now you've got to convert it to, we have to convert it to international units, and so you basically divide that by 18. So glucose divided by 18 divided by ketones, so glucoketo index, and that's where that 3.5 comes from. So if let's go back here. Let me pull up my calculator. Let's see, what was it? 70. Yeah, 70. Let me grab my calculator. Here we are. So 70 divided by 18 is equal to that, divided by 1.1 gives us our 3.5. So that's where that number comes from. It's a math. It's an equation. And so you make that division, and that gets you the number. So let's go back here. And so when we talk about ketones, we typically want the glucose to be as low as possible. We want the ketones to be as high as possible, and we want the glucoketo index to be as low as possible, right? So those are the kind of parameters that we're looking for. And then let's see, if we take a look at graphs, and so let's see. So Monday, this is where I was. So my ketones, which are down here, was 0.1, and my blood sugar at the time was 98. And then when we checked in last night, my glucose was 67, and my ketones were 0.8. All right, so remember, ketones and insulin can't be in the same space. So when insulin comes out, ketones at that point have to go away. And so this is a good point to be made here, because when we talk about food, and we talk about the foods that we're eating to come into the fast, that last meal, if your blood sugar, if your meal is of such that the blood sugars stay elevated, that means that the insulin also has to stay elevated. And if the insulin stay elevated, then ketones can't come out. So remember that is an important point, because the things that you eat, the things that you do prior to the fast, can have a significant impact on the fast itself. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to do a check-in. We've not done that the last couple of episodes. Let's go ahead and do that. And the check-in, I really do the check-in because I want to talk about how my body is doing, how it's feeling physically, mentally, and emotionally. And those are the places where people tend to have difficulty with the fast, and with really anything that we are doing in terms of improving. So what we're doing physically, mentally, and emotionally, very important. And you'll recognize physically, mentally, emotionally, those are actually three of the domains. When we talked about the domains of health, those are three of the top three, three of the top eight. And physically, I am actually feeling energetic. I got good rest last night. We were off today, and so I got to sleep in a little bit, which definitely helped. I worked out this morning, and really just have been having a good time. Now, I will say that yesterday, was it yesterday? Yesterday was 48 hours. No, today was 48 hours. So yesterday I did have a little bit of a headache and realized that, hey, I was not doing a good job of hydrating at the time. So that, yeah, okay. And that's becoming a challenge for me, because what's happening is sometimes when we don't eat, we also don't think about drinking. And if we're not thinking about drinking, then we can have some challenges in maintaining good hydration. So that's one thing that I have to work on, because if I don't work on that, that can help, that can set me up for some challenges going forward. But in terms of my energy, not feeling lightheaded, dizzy, sweaty, or any of the things that people will say when they talk about fasting, I'm not feeling as though I am. Sometimes people will say that they've hit a wall. I'm not feeling any of that at this point. So I'm very excited about the space that I'm in. And then, of course, mentally, that goes along with the physical, because how you feel mentally can reflect a lot of what's going on in the physical space. If you're not doing a good job of resting, then you can also have challenges in your energy. And if your energy is low, as you know, when you're not well rested, your thought process also can be challenging. So right now, not feeling any of that, but wanting to make sure that I am doing all the things I need to do to be healthy. And then, of course, emotionally, that didn't change. Here we go. And then, of course, emotionally, this has been a fun week. We've been off of our schedule a little bit because of some conferences that are going on here in town, which is why, for instance, yesterday our show, we did a little later show, and then today, we went right at about the time that we normally go. So that was actually pretty good. All right. So let's go ahead and let's hop in and do our discussion. Let's have our discussion, and then we'll move on. We'll say hi to our community members. I see some out there. So let's go ahead and let's do that right now. All right, so we are continuing our trek in the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, and we are pairing that with one of the tools that comes from the plan, but one of the primary tools that we use here for our metabolic improvement, metabolic reversal, and that is fasting. And right now I'm a little bit over 56 hours of fasting. If you joined us before, if you've been joining us, if you've been walking through this space, you know that there are amazing benefits that comes from fasting. And I am deep into cellular cleanup at this phase, right? At this point, because the body has moved past burning glycogen. It's moved past burning the sugar that's in the blood, and it is burning ketones at this point at 56 hours. Right now, autophagy is there. My fat burning is improved. Inflammation is being reduced. This is all happening silently under the surface. This isn't just a check-in. This is an invitation to step into deeper understanding of what fasting can do when you don't stop too soon. right? So let's talk about the healing that that most people are unaware of and sometimes miss because they don't know that it's happening in this space. And sometimes they don't even know it's happening. Okay? So let's talk about the science of this window that I'm in right now, this 56 hours. Glycogen stores have gone because that happens at 24 to 36 hours. Your body is now relying on fat and ketones for fuel. There are certain parts of the body that thrive actually on the ketones. For instance, our muscles like ketones. Our brain likes ketones. Autophagy is fully activated, and it is grabbing those damaged, broken, unused cells and it's recycling them. Inflammation is going down because the autophagy is cleaning up. Your immune system is resetting. Insulin is suppressed, right? You've maximized your insulin sensitivity. With every hour that you're in, right, that insulin goes lower and the body is becoming more sensitive. But here's the kicker. This isn't loud healing. This isn't like noise. This isn't like streamers and balloons. There's no applause. No visible milestone. It's silent repair that's going on. And because it's quiet, people sometimes will quit too soon. Well, I don't see anything happening. I don't feel anything happening. They mistake the absence of fireworks for the absence of progress. But progress at this level is deep. It's not dramatic. And that's what makes it so powerful. Healing happens beyond hunger, right? Healing happens beyond hunger. This is what's going on. This is what we feel. This is what we can feel. But we don't always have to feel it. You might feel a little tired. You might feel a little headache. You might feel a little lightheaded. But once again, remember, a lot of that comes from how we come into the fast, how we prepare for the fast, the things that we do there. When we're not rested, when we're not hydrated, those things, headaches, feeling tired, feeling lightheaded, all that happens, particularly when we don't do a good job of coming into the fast. But your body is in metabolic reprogramming at this point. This is where long-standing metabolic damage begins to reverse as we get into the longer fast. I actually did a talk earlier this evening to a group, and I was telling them that we get benefit from all fasting. Let me say that. Let me just throw that out there. We get benefit from all fasting, but the long, deep, more quickly accessible benefits of fasting come as we're doing those longer fasts, right? This is where we get that big push in reversing our fatty liver that starts to resolve. This is where we get that vascular inflammation that goes down and becomes quiet. And as I mentioned to you before and in my talk this evening, is when that insulin begins to go down, those blood vessels, which are usually stiffer because of the insulin, those blood vessels begin to improve because the inflammation is not there anymore. And so blood pressure is going down. Hormones like ghrelin and leptin, they start to recalibrate. So they were responding to the old metabolic state that we were in before, but now they're recalibrating, resetting because of the fasting, and they are now becoming better regulated. And then, of course, mental clarity increases as ketones fuel your brain. Remember that beta hydroxybutyrate that we talk about? That is there. And the other components, the other hormones, the other enzymes, the other things that are there, like brain-derived natriuretic factor, BDNF, that is like miracle grow for the brain. So what's happening now is not about weight loss. It's about identity level healing. I want you to hear that. Now, I guess let me pause. Let me be honest. Be honest. Practically speaking, there are reasons why we're fasting. Right? We want to lose weight. We want to have improved blood sugars. We want to reverse chronic disease, whether it's high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver, and on. We want to do those things, and those things happen. And as I pointed out before, I am excited because some of those things that are happening are really just side effects of me improving my metabolism. When I look at my weight and see that my weight is continuing to improve, that is a side effect of my metabolism getting better. When I see my blood sugar and my A1C down, that is a side effect of me improving my metabolism. So there are specific reasons why we're fasting, specific reasons why we have even entertained the health action plan, specific things that we're looking for, and that's great. But beyond that, there is this massive amount of benefit that we get, where we're actually changing our identity, changing. Do you want to change your body from a cellular level? Fasting will do it. Right? It's about healing your cells, helping your inflammation, healing your relationship with food. Here's a good one. Because during the fast, there is no food. You're basically functioning without the safety net. And you've got to live life on life's terms, but with your spin on it. Life is going to do what life's going to do. But we get to interact with it on our terms. That's why this phase matters. That's why this is important, because it's doing all of those metabolic things, but it also is helping us in our thought process, our mentation, our mindset, our problem solving, our relationships. All that's happening at this phase. So why do most people never reach this phase? Well, let me tell you something. Most people don't realize the benefit of getting here. Right? It's not that they say, okay, yeah, I'm not going to do that, but we've not done a good job of explaining. It's kind of like taking a trip, right? And you're on the trip, and you know that there are some benefits to being on the trip. And you're like, man, this is getting tired. This is getting harder. And so I'm going to turn around. But the people who are with you, the guys that are with you, never tell you about, man, this amazing thing that you're going to see up there. Was it last year or a year ago? We went out to California to hang out with some family. And we were we went to San Francisco. And there was a park that we were going to go to that had an amazing view, and it was cold, and it was just not a nice time. And I was like, I'm going to stay in the car. But when they told me, hey, when we get there, what you're going to see is going to be amazing, I'm like, okay, come on, let's go. Right? So the average fast in America is less than 14 hours. That means that 90% of people never even tap into this phase. Why? Because they didn't know. Because they think hunger means something is wrong. They think growling means that they've got to put something in. They think that the discomfort that they may feel is going to last forever. They think the cravings are going to be too strong. Because we've been trained to chase comfort, not chase healing. And this goes back to our conversation. Here's what we're bringing in: planning and structure. Planning and structure. So that when we're at this phase, if we've planned, if we have the structure in place, then even the discomfort that we have, it's possible to overcome it, because we've reframed and we've put some things in place that says to us that this is healing going on. In fact, reframing it to when I feel hungry, I realize, okay, my body's healing. That's why I check my numbers, by the way. I check my numbers because the numbers say to me, it gives me a cue. It gives me a visual representation of what's happening in my body. Because if my blood sugars are low, that means that the blood, right, in the blood, the body's used up the sugar that's there. And then my ketones are high. That means that my body is ketones are coming from somewhere. And if the sugar is low, that means it can't be coming from anywhere else other than my body burning fat and converting that fat into ketones. Even when I see my blood sugar fluctuate up and down, right, around 70, 100, 120, then I get excited, because if my blood sugar is low, and I have not eaten anything, the only place, and it's over 24 hours, the only place that my body can be getting sugar from is when it breaks down fat. Remember triglycerides? It takes off the fatty acid, that's the 3 parts, tri, and then the backbone that's left is called glycerol. And that glycerol can now be converted into sugar. So when my blood sugar goes down below 70, and then all of a sudden it comes back up, I don't fuss about that. I get excited, because the reason it went up is because my body had to go find sugar somewhere. Yeah. But right, so we've trained to get comfort. But here's what you can do instead. You gave your body time. You can give your body time. Most of those cravings that seem so urgent are cravings. But true hunger is gradual. It comes in waves. So when the brain is saying, I got to do this right now, right now, we understand, yeah, that's a craving. And then looking to see, well, how did I come into the fast? What was going on prior to the fast? What did I eat? Am I in a stressful situation? So you beginning to evaluate. Because what we want to do is we want to give metabolism space. When we do the COPE model, clarify, observe, pause, and execute, that pause is space. That gives the prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of the brain, the executive part of the brain, gives it the opportunity to overshadow the basal, survival, limbic, amygdala system. That's just out for comfort and just out for reaction. No, what we want to do is we want to respond. And you honor your healing when you maintain the fast, when you continue the fast. You honor your healing over your habit. Remember the HEAT model? Habits, emotions, access, and taste. Those things will push us. They press our buttons. We're used to doing it, so we just keep doing it. And now that we're fasting and we see people doing what we used to do, then we're like, okay, no, what's going on? Right? What's going on? I'm going to go. I want to eat too. The emotions, when things become interesting in life. When life is happening, when we're stressed about the future, we're depressed about the past, we're anxious about the present, when there's some history, some trauma, something that triggers us, when we're lonely, or we're tired, or we're bored, when those things happen, they will push through your desire. And when you are able to allow the prefrontal cortex to come over and to take over, when you have paused, when you clarify, when you observe, and you execute, you do something different. You are honoring the fast and you're honoring your body. One of the things that I love to do right now is I'm really getting into just strength, strategy, and mindset. The bodybuilding, the body toning, the strength stuff that I'm doing. So that there are times when I'm, okay, right, so I used to turn to food. Yes, I did, admit it. I used to turn to food as a buffer. But now I can go out there, grab a dumbbell, and I can start doing some curls, do some presses, doing some squats, doing some lateral raises, doing some hammer curls, right? So all of that now is part of my execute because I've paused. I'm learning to pause. And all of this actually happens when we are practicing. This does not happen in isolation. It does not happen just because something's going on and you decide you're going to do it right now. No. It has to be constantly practiced. And that's why the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, right, pillar number 4, planning and structure. Because if left to itself, it won't happen. So you're honoring yourself, you're honoring your body, and that's rare. It's contagious. And that deserves to be celebrated. So what do we want to focus on? What do we want to focus on while the healing continues? Right? At 56 hours, here's where your attention should go. 56 hours. Number 1, you want to make sure that you are maintaining hydration. And that, I've got to put my hands up. That one, the last several times that I've fasted, I've not done a good job of doing. Right? You want to make sure you're getting enough fluids in, that you're maintaining hydration, you're getting enough electrolytes in as well. Because that helps you fast properly, fast correctly, and be successful in the fast. So hydration. Number 2, stillness. Your nervous system is recalibrating. So this is not the time to pick up major projects. I'm not telling you to go to the house and just sit down and not do anything. But if you have major projects that are going on and you are doing these extended fasts, then maybe that's not the time to do it. Now, when I'm doing things, I will try to schedule things around fasting or change my fasting. Now, for the last, I'm trying to think now, how many months and weeks that the fasting has been consistent with the, Tuesday afternoon to Friday. But when things change, like when we travel, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, we went to Boston, we went to Florida, we went to New York, I was in Jamaica. When traveling happens, then I will adjust the fasting window to accommodate that. I still do the 72-hour fast, and I think most of the time I've done it. There have been a few times that I've cut it to 56 hours or some shorter period, but most of the time we sticking to that. And I do that because I know when the anchors are, when I start, when I end, and other things will fit around that. I've begun adjusting the rest of my day, the rest of my week to compensate. And if that doesn't work, I just move the fast. But be still. You want to focus on mental clarity. This is the time when your brain is on fire and the connections are being made and the ideas, the concepts are flowing. So begin journaling, reflecting, listening. Don't miss this opportunity to utilize one of the major benefits of fasting. If you've got something that you've been trying to figure out and you can't just quite get it, think about it during fasting. And then as you are moving through that mental clarity, this is also a time to practice some of the other focusing techniques, some of the other mindfulness techniques. Maybe you want to do yoga. Maybe you have a devotion. Maybe you are learning how to meditate. If you've been following us on the strength, strategy, and mindset, we've been doing the centering and grounding exercises along with the breathing exercises. Great opportunity, great time to have to learn about that. And then continuing, what we should be thinking about? Thinking about rest. So don't overtrain. Let your body use its energy for repairing. Don't do a marathon during fasting. Now, I do the strength, strategy, and mindset, and that is getting my body toned, it's using those muscles. But that is something that we continue to do. Now, if you have been doing fasting workouts, and fasting workout is a workout that people do specifically because the body, when you're fasting, the growth hormone goes up. You have maintenance of muscle. Actually, you get better repair when growth hormone is there when you're fasting. So sometimes people will do a fasting workout where they deliberately are working out during fasting. If you've done that and have been doing that, great. But don't start that workout. If this is your first time, don't start it in fasting. So wait until your non-fasting window, get into the workout, get into the activities, and then you can begin doing it during the fast. But we don't want to start the new workout out at a time when we're fasting, because that will show up as what? As fatigue, low energy, all the things that we talk about. So rest, don't overtrain. Let your body use its energy. And get good rest. Go to bed. We recommend at least 7 hours of sleep, of restful, restorative sleep, not just getting in the bed and then, right? So I'm talking about getting to sleep, all the things we talk about, sleep hygiene, closing the windows, making it dark, getting rid of blue lights from the phone, making it quiet. If you listen to, and I listen to thunderstorm sounds while I sleep. I love it. Makes me feel good. Let the body train. And then remind yourself why you started. This is an important one. The why. The why is super, super important. If we are not careful and we miss using this to jumpstart, to pump, to keep us going, we miss an opportunity. Your why is that North Star statement. We talk about rhythm, alignment, and structure. The rhythm, what is the rhythm of your life? What is the tenure of your life? What are you about? And why are you doing this? I started out by saying many of us have specific reasons why we fast. Blood sugar, weight, metabolism, high blood pressure, whatever it is. We need to lose weight. What is your reason? What's your why? And if you're wondering what's next, you're moving towards 72 hours. That's where we are. That's the summit. But remember, every hour is a bonus to your biology. So whether you're doing a 16-8 or 18-4 or a 22 or 24, as you get into the longer fast, every hour counts towards your biology. The longer you go, the more the healing compounds. Remember that building up on top of each other. Small, consistent progress, small, consistent activities over time, they add up to big benefits. Going back and talking about strength, strategy, and mindset on this, was it 2 episodes ago? I come on without my shirt so people can see what the progression has been. So if you've not watched that, that's actually a good place to go watch, right? So they can see, because on a regular basis, on a daily basis, when you look in the mirror, you may not see drastic changes, but when you look at where we were to where we are, and when you think of what we're tracking in terms of the weights that we're doing, the number of sets, the number of reps, small consistency over time. And so in the fasting space, sometimes you may not be at 72 hours. You may not be at 56 hours. But you started at 12 and now you're at 20 hours. That's progress. And just because you can't get to 56 doesn't mean you stop. Because every hour counts. When we talk about balanced bites, we say every bite counts towards your metabolism. We talk about our walking, right? Every step counts. We talk about our strength training. Every rep counts. And we talk about fasting. Every hour counts. As a matter of fact, I need to change that to say not just every hour, but every minute counts towards your biology. Because the body is continuously changing and improving as we continue in the fast. The longer you go, the more the healing compounds. You're not just doing a fast. You're doing something most people never will do. For lots of reasons. Number one, they may not believe it's possible. I can't tell you the number of people that I've talked to that said, well, I can't fast. Just off the cuff, I can't fast. They may not believe it's possible. They may not believe that they can fast. And when I say that, I mean, like people say to me, well, diabetics can't fast. I say, yes, they can. People say, I'm going to starve. No, you won't. Because remember, fasting is different from starvation. Fasting is the voluntary abstinence from food. Starvation is abstinence from food, but it's not voluntary. You have to. There's no option. There's no food. There's no whatever. Or people will say that fasting, I'm on medication. I'm on medication, so I can't fast and my blood sugar will go down. Well, that simply means that if the fasting is working to the point where your blood sugar is going down, then that means you can adjust your medication down. Right? That's the whole point. So make sure that you're checking and touch basing with your healthcare provider as that's happening. Because our goal, right? Let's go back and let's talk about metabolism. So our goal is not just reversing diabetes, not just reversing our weight, not just improving our blood pressure and blood sugar and cholesterol and all those. Remember, one of the other things is that, and you hear me say that, is we are trying to get off of medication. There are many people who will tell me, well, my blood sugar drops, so I eat to bring it back up. And it always drops, so I've now started eating so that I don't drop. But here's the thing. If you're on medication that's causing the blood sugar to go down, and we're eating to keep the blood sugar up so we can keep taking the medication, it actually should be the opposite. So if my blood sugar is dropping, or if my fasting is making my blood sugar drop to the point where it's below normal, so I don't want to give up the fasting because that is what I want the benefit from. Now I talk to my provider and say, hey, my blood sugars are better, my blood sugars are going down. How do we adjust the medication so that I can keep fasting? See the thought process there? The other group of people, other reasons that people say they can't, is they are on some medication that they were told that you have to take this medication with food. And sometimes the reason for taking the medication with food is that, some people, when they take the food and they don't, or they take the medication, they don't eat, they feel nauseated. Well, here's the question. Are you one of those people? Not everybody gets those side effects. And so you want to talk to your healthcare provider and say, hey, it doesn't look like, I take this all the time without food and nothing happens. And you can only try it. If you become nauseated, then we've got to figure out a different method of doing this. But don't just assume that, hey, yeah, this is what it is. Yeah. So here's what I want to essentially give you and have you take away. You're not just skipping meals. You are reclaiming your biology. You're saying, I am willing to do what I need to do to be healthy, to reverse my metabolism, to improve my metabolism, to get it better. You are falling into alignment, not falling apart. right? You're aligning. Because the thing you're doing now, and remember rhythm, alignment, and structure, rhythm, the tenure, the course, the North Star statement, the alignment is, are the things I'm doing, the behaviors I have, the things that I'm going through, are they of such that they are taking me in the direction of what I say I want to be? So fasting is one of those. This is not about willpower. We're not relying on willpower. Willpower and motivation are fleeting. Here today, gone tomorrow. We're relying on planning and structure. So we fast on a particular day for a particular period. This is what we're eating before we start the fast. This is what we're eating when we end the fast. I walk at a particular time. And if it's not the time, I walk for a certain amount of time. Because you may not be able to do that every day at the same time. But I walk for a certain amount of time. This is my plan. This is my weekly plan. When I think about foods, I think about foods in a certain way. And I'm talking about me and I'm talking about you when I say I, right? So you're saying this to yourself. This is about wisdom, this is about strategy, and it's about healing. And if you're watching this, you are already in the top percentage of people who have the discipline and the vision to push past easy and to step into the extraordinary. So you want to keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep healing. Let's live a limitless life. So 56 hours into fasting, there are hidden healing phases that most people never get to. This is one of them right here. And you are having tremendous benefit in your health. You're having tremendous improvement in your metabolism. You are reversing your disease processes, and you are setting yourself up for success. And that is what limitless living says, that I'm doing everything I can. I'm not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside to prevent me from doing what I need to do. I'm showing up with my best self, my best health, and the best plans for my life. We'll continue walking through the plan and connecting the fasting with other components of the plan as we move through. Catch us for the next episode as we continue our fast and as we continue talking about the health action plan. All right. So those benefits, and we talk a lot about the metabolic benefits, and we talk about the obvious ones, right? So blood sugar, weight, and so forth. But some of these others are happening, but they're happening quietly. And so we don't ever want to negate or miss the fact that those are happening. Now, one of the things that I didn't do earlier is I want to show you, let's see, let's pull that up. I want to show you my weight. All right, so that's my weight right now. And you've heard me talk about the fact that I was at my highest weight, 287 pounds. So we're about 0.2 pounds above, 0.2 pounds low. We lost 100 pounds. Well, actually more than 100, but we're about 0.2 up now. So 99.8 pounds is where we are. But one of the things that I wanted to point out is looking at the graph, and I'm going to look a year by a year. Over the course of time, the trend has been in the downward direction. But if I look at a particular time, for example, if I go over the course here, this is a month's worth, right? So even though there are some fluctuations there, it's pretty consistent. So looking at that on a regular basis, because I'm looking at it continually, it may not appear as though things are happening. Just like when we're fasting, just like when we're doing the health action plan, it may not appear that things are happening, but things are happening slowly. So when I go back and I look over the course of time, right? I'm like, oh yeah, look at that. And so the trend is in the downward area to take us to where we need to be. And here we've, the last little bit, we've kind of been staying there, 187, 180. I think I got up to 190. But that's the plan. That's the process. And all of this happens as a benefit of fasting. And I should say just a benefit of fasting. This happens as a benefit of the health action plan. So all the things that we do when we talk about being in that space, right? The Limitless Living Health Action Plan. So walking and fasting, strength training, balanced bites, rest and recovery, mental mastery, and of course this week we're talking about structure and planning. All of those together are what provides a blueprint. If you do this, it'll look like this. It provides the guardrails that let us know, hey, it looks like you're off course a little bit. It provides the checklist. If I check these boxes, if I go through this process, my chances of showing up where I'm supposed to be with what I'm supposed to have goes up. Just like on the airplane. When they come in, they go through the checklist. And the checklist helps us know that, yes, this is where our likelihood of getting to our destination is higher because we went through the checklist. But if you don't go through the checklist, yeah, all bets are off at that point. And so here in the space, we're always educating, empowering, and encouraging. That is the platform. We educate, we empower, we encourage. We educate with the shows, with the blogs, with the podcasts. As I'm out now and about, right? Limitless Living Health Series, Limitless Living Lecture Series, Limitless Living on the Go, right? To educate people, to help them understand that there can be a different way of doing things. There is a different way of doing things. We can have success. We empower with the tools. 100-day walk to consistency, strength, strategy, and mindset, balanced bites, the health action plan. All of those are tools that allow you to implement the things that we are learning with the mindset change. And of course, the community is the encouragement. We educate, we empower, we encourage. The community that we are forming, that we are growing, that you are part of. In this space, when you show up and you tell your stories, you tell the successes you're having. Like we just saw someone put in the chat that their A1C was 5.5. Amazing. All of those benefits we get to share together. So when you show up, when you come, activate, right, the action plan. Give it power with your behavior, with your action, with the things that you do. And then tell somebody else that they too can have benefits, just like you're having in the improvement in your health. Let's hop over here. I want to say hello to some of our community members. I see some of you out there. So let's do that. And let's see. We've got Juyun who came through. She says, hi. Doctor and hi LLG, so Limitless Living Gang, for those of you who don't know what that means. Steve came through. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Steve says hello. Gion says hi, Steve. Hi, Gion, smiling. Steve says, I slept much better since I've stopped wearing my CPAP. Whoa, come on now. Here we go. Now, so one of the things that we have not mentioned in the course of when we go through the metabolic diseases, we haven't mentioned recently sleep apnea. Sleep apnea, right? Obstructive sleep apnea that gets better when we lose weight. We lose weight when our body stops storing, when we're burning fat. We do that when we're fasting, when we're walking, when we're strength training, when we're using balanced bites. All of that downstream benefits of the process. Gion says, thank you, doctor. Thank you all. Jennifer, hey, Jennifer says, howdy. What is going on, Jennifer? Thanks for coming through. Steve says, hello, Jennifer. He says, my weight has remained consistent over a year since we've been fasting. Look at that. What? Hand clap. Consistent weight over a year since fasting. And Steve says his A1C is 5.5. Thank you for putting that in there, Steve. Jennifer says, nice A1C and congratulations. Yes, definitely congratulations to you. Gion says, hi, Jennifer. Hey, Gion from Jennifer. Great job, Steve. Gion says, how's your garden? That's what, and I was supposed to pull this up. Let me see if I can do that really quickly because Jennifer sent us a picture. Let me see, where can I get that? Jennifer. Jennifer sent us a picture. And let's see if I can grab that. Here it is. And Jennifer, I'm going to show it. Let's go over here. And this is from her garden. Yay, look at all that stuff. Right? We got some eggs over there. Is that collard greens? We got some broccoli. We got some cauliflower, cucumber, and is this radish? What's that right there? Okay, but all of this is from Jennifer's garden. So Jennifer, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right, so back. So anyway, so the question, how is your garden? And you guys see that there. Steve says, I had my best day in gym today. I did 2.5 and inclined on the treadmill for 35 minutes. Increased the weight I've been lifting. All right, good for you. Good for you. Jennifer says, doing great, getting lots of veggies. Sent Doc a photo. Yeah, there you go. So he could share. Thank you. Gion says, great job, Steve. Jill says, question, doctor, I ate bone broth and butter while fasting. Is it, do I stay in ketosis? It depends. So if you are checking your ketones, then you would be able to tell, right? So most bone broth, if you do it well, does not have a lot of carbs. There are some calories there, but it depends, right? So if you are doing, if you're doing fasting and you say your ketones are 2.5 or thereabouts, and you eat something that has some calories but not a lot of carbs, the sugar doesn't come out, the insulin doesn't spike, so you could probably stay in ketosis. Your ketones may not be as high, but you still kind of stay in ketosis, and you would, if you have some way of checking that, you'll be able to tell that. Okay. Let's see. Gion says, wow, beautiful, Jennifer. I love that. Jennifer says, kale. Okay, kale, broccolini, cauliflower, broccoli, radish. Okay, I was right. And spinach, cucumber, and lettuce. Thank you for sharing that. And then Gion says, amazing. Yes. Thank you. We're always telling Jennifer that she also is telling us about her garden. So I did, let's get a picture of that. So love that. Okay, so one of the things, and let me just throw this out there for you now. So just like Jennifer sent pictures, right? I'm encouraging you, if you have a picture of something that you're eating, right? Just make sure you label it. Okay, this is what I ate for my last meal before I fasted. This is what I ate for my first meal before I fasted. Or here is what I'm doing in terms of my walking. Here's what I'm doing in terms of my strength training. Here is my balanced bites menu. Here is my tracking that I'm doing. Whatever it is, send us a picture, right? Because we want to see what's going on. And if that picture if the picture is okay, let me say that, then we may share that with our community. But thank you, Jennifer, for doing that. And Jennifer says that her garden is all organic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome. All right. Well, we are always excited when you're here in this space with us. I'm glad to be here, glad to see the benefits that you're having, and also glad to see the benefits that I continue to have as we're walking through this process together. We will do our complete fasting check-in tomorrow as we talk about how to fast, how to prepare for the fast, how to get through the fast and what goes on in our body, and then how to end the fast. On Saturday, we'll have a video from the vault at 9 p.m. Central, right here on the channel. And then Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Central, we'll have video from the vault. And then we'll be back on Monday as we continue our walk through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. We're going to do another episode of planning and structure. There's a lot of information there, a lot of good information that we want to make sure that we get solidified. So we'll walk through that process again. That will be at 7 p.m. Central right here on the show, on the channel for Dwain Woode MD Live. We'll do our check-in, as I said before, and we'll continue moving through. So go, 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 go. Everybody, I want to make sure that you are living a limitless life and that you are enjoying the process of reversing your metabolism. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and create and go to that next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted. And Limitless Living says that we are not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We're showing up with our best selves, our best health, and our best plans. We're breaking through the barriers, we're pushing through the obstacles, and we are living a limitless life. We'll see you at our next video, at our next check-in, and we'll see you on our show on Monday. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great night. Good night.